Um, we'll have it available for those who weren't able to attend. But again, I think there's a lot of value in having live events. So we're really glad that all of you are here to be live. Um, like I said, I'm Rachel Keegan, the Director of Enrollment. I just want to introduce the folks that are here today. We have Erin Keener, who's our marketing person, admissions person as well in the background, sort of doing all the tech support. And thank you for that, Erin. We have Madame Kadir, our resident director in France, in Rennes, who will be hosting the conversation. We have two great students with us, Alex Simcoe, who is from Greenwich Country Day, and we have Malaika Okabeto from Mercersburg Academy, who is currently enrolled in Rennes as well as Alex's parents who are joining the call. And thank you both, Susan and Michael, for joining us. So we're going to show the video first. I think we've got a great program planned for you, and I know you all have a lot of questions. And the format's going to be a conversation with our guests that Madame Kadir will host. We're going to start with a video. We'll go to the conversation, and then the last 10 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes, we will have for question and answer. We will wrap this up within the hour because it's late over there and everyone's busy and has a lot to do. But again, thank you in advance for being here. And if you have questions, put them in the chat box at any time, and we'll start answering them during the event, but then also address some of them at the end of the call as well. So, Erin, if you could show us the video, please.
Definitely SYA has opened my eyes to the world and how amazing living abroad is.
The stuff you learn in the classroom is not how they speak French in the real world, and I think that's something valuable you get from SYA. At some point, you really just start feeling like French is like a second language to you. Like, it's awesome.
It's a really beautiful city, like especially the middle of town, the centre-ville. I love just kind of walking in like the old part of the city and just hanging out with my friends.
I take the bus from my house in the morning, and then I take the Metro one stop, and there's a bunch of great bakeries, all the pastries, and that's something, the bread, oh, freshly baked, I'm gonna miss it.
For me, when I first got to Rennes, I was wowed by the architecture. Like, I would walk down the street and I was just like, no way, this is real life. I feel like from my classes, the city has come alive. I understand the history, the context of everything. It feels like the world is kind of like broadening.
Art history kind of helps us process what we're seeing and think about the history and kind of what we enjoy about Rennes and art. And I think we all have a shared love for art in our class and French.
Being at SYA, you have these moments that can be really hard, like having to go and speak to a stranger in French. You can see over the year you just getting better and better. Honestly, it really lifts you up, and I've honestly become much more confident in my ability to speak with others, not only in French, but also just in general.
There's so many different extracurriculars that you can do at SYA. You can do swimming, you can do rock climbing. I am a volleyball player.
If you're passionate about something and you want to continue something here, like, you can totally make that happen. For me, like with art, like I take the class and I do it outside of school, and it's really part of my habits that I've created here.
My host parents and my host sister are incredible. I've become really close to them, and I think my closeness with my host family has definitely shaped my SYA experience.
All the families at SYA who host are so incredibly welcoming and so incredibly just there to help you learn and invite you into their family.
You know, I was even confused. I didn't know if I wanted to leave my home for 9 months because, again, it's really intimidating. I will say from personal experience, it's been the best year of my life, but the independence and kind of the personal growth I've gained from being at SYA is something that I'll take with me for the rest of my life, for sure. It's all about, you know, taking that step, taking the leap of faith, and it pays off.
Thanks, Erin. Madame Kadir, all of
Oui,
you.
merci, Madame Kelly. Bonsoir à toutes et à tous. Bienvenue, welcome everyone. It was great to see the video again. So you saw a glimpse of our beautiful city. SYA France has actually been in Rennes since 1967, so over half a century. Rennes is the capital of the Bretagne region on the west side of France. And we'll talk more about living in Rennes in a few minutes with two of our wonderful students, Malaika and Alex, who have kindly accepted to join us on this call. So I'll start with having them introduce themselves. Je vais commencer par toi, Malaika. Est-ce que tu peux te présenter en français, ton prénom, ton nom, ton âge, ta ville d'origine, ton école, et tu peux ajouter ce que tu veux.
D'accord, bonjour à tous. Je m'appelle Malaika, je viens de New Jersey et mon école aux États-Unis s'appelle Mercersburg Academy, ce qui est en internat, c'est un boarding school. Et oui, j'ai 16 ans et je suis un élève de full year pour SYA France. Et oui, c'est tout.
Parfait, merci Malaika. Alex, tu peux faire la même chose, s'il te plaît?
Bonjour à tous, je m'appelle Alexinko, je viens de Greenwich, Connecticut, aux États-Unis. J'ai étudié au Greenwich Country Day School en Greenwich, Connecticut. C'est une école de jour. Euh, mais maintenant, j'étudie à Rennes.
Merci à tous les deux. So as a side note, and before we dive in the topics we have for you tonight, and Malaika and Alex might blush at what I'm going to say next, but I do want to say that I have a lot of admiration and empathy for our young students. It really takes a special type of student to do this program. They make the choice of leaving behind the comfort of home and everything they know to embrace a new world while learning a new language. So I'm saying this because I look at SYA as a place where education is not preparation for life, but is life itself. So as you are deciding as a family whether or not this is for you, I will say that students who sign up are those who are looking for independence, perspective taking, problem solving, and of course, language acquisition. So our students' experiences go beyond the new food, the customs, the traditions, or the architecture. They're really immersed in the culture and they gain an understanding of the world, the new world around them, and they place in it while they are representing SYA, they homeschool, and their country. So while I'm saying this about the students, it's also important to say that it takes a special kind of parent to let the child go. So again, tonight we're joined by Monsieur et Madame Simcoe, le papa et la maman d'Alex. Welcome again. You were in this audience last year, and tonight you'll give your perspective as parents of a current annual student. So un grand merci for taking the time to be with us. And if I could ask both of you, the first question I have in mind is, aside from introducing yourselves, to say a few words about Alex's experience and perhaps tell us why you have chosen the year-long program versus the semester program.
You want me to
you take it, Susan.
Yeah, so I honestly can't say enough about this program. Alex, I actually had a friend whose daughter did this program a few years ago, so I had heard all about it. And Alex, just from the moment he heard about it, was really excited about it. And the thought of leaving, having Alex leave for a year was difficult at first for me. But from what I've seen over the last semester plus is nothing other than magical and incredible. And I can't say enough about what a growth opportunity this has been for Alex in so many different ways. And he did choose the year-long program, which I just think makes a ton of sense because how many times in your life really do you have the opportunity to do something like this? And I think, and he agreed and Michael agreed, if we're going to do it, let's do it and really get as many benefits as we possibly can. So we're really proud of Alex for working so hard, but he has an incredible support system at SYA, at the school, at home. which I think has made the transition a lot easier for him as well. Michael, what would you add?
Yeah, I'd add to it that when you think about signing up for a year to go away, it sounds like a long time, but it's not. Alex has gone through 4 months already, September, October, November, December, January, 4 months already. It's gone like this, like absolutely in a blink of an eye. So I think being there for a year, like if it's gone that far this quickly, being there for a year is almost like nothing in a way, because I don't think he'd even get his feet wet enough if he's only there for one semester. I just think it's a fabulous experience that he has the opportunity to take part in, and he's just loving it. So, I mean, time goes fast. Time goes really fast, and I don't think that one semester is just enough from our experience after seeing him. Yeah.
Très bien, merci beaucoup. So I would like to go through different topics tonight. So topic number one will be school, of course. So I'll start by giving you an overview of our program, and then how our students share their experience. So currently we have 47 students, 29 annual and 18 semester students. Last week we actually welcomed our spring semester students. Now the entire student body is very busy. They're fully back into the rhythm of school. Tomorrow, students are traveling to the city of Nantes, which is about 100 kilometers from Rennes, and everyone is awaiting for our 5-day academic trip in Paris in February. So you might wonder, since we're abroad, what our school day or schedule looks like on a day-to-day basis. So students take 6 courses. Each student gets to choose 2 electives. We offer politics, science, art history, and cinema. All of the elective courses are taught in the target language, so in French, and they all have a component of learning that takes place outside of the classroom. So in addition to these 2 electives, students also take 4 mandatory courses. That would be English, math, French language, and experiential French, which is our signature fieldwork class. So for this class in particular, the experiential French class, which is unique to SYA, an entire day of teaching is dedicated to basically doing class outside of school. So every other week, students have 4 days of traditional class time, and Thursday is fieldwork day. So it's a very unique, again, and place-based class. And in order to explain it better, I will have our students maybe share a bit about either a favorite fieldwork or a favorite class here at SYA. Je commence par Alex. Ouais, merci.
Yeah, so experiential French is an amazing class. I know what it sounds like. It sounds like one of those classes that you take at school that's like not that academic or whatever. It was one of the biggest challenges at the beginning of the year, but has truly been also one of the most rewarding. I thought, oh, you get to goof around for a day and then it's like fun or whatever. No, you like work for a day and then you have another class, and then you have another class the next day where you work about what you worked on. And which sounds, it's hard, but it's an amazing class, and I've had so many wonderful experiences with it. For example, last week we spent half a day walking through Rennes. We were given a map of different oeuvres or street arts in the city. And we like took a bus there and then walked back like towards the school, looking at different pieces of art. And I discovered a whole new side of Rennes that I didn't even know existed. Saw some beautiful art, and yeah, it's a great class.
Merci beaucoup, Alex. Malaika, est-ce que tu peux ajouter quelque chose, soit sur le fieldwork ou un cours électif?
Okay, yes, I totally agree with what Alex said. I think it's probably one of my favorite classes here, and I really liked that like fieldwork that we did too, like exploring the city. And then there was another one that I really liked, which was La Gacilly. Like we went to this kind of expose, like this art exposition that was outside. And it was kind of at the beginning of the year. So it was really like sunny out. It was really fun to just like explore that with these new friends that I was just like making. And then also to speak a bit on an elective that I really like, I would have to say French cinema is one of my favorite classes that I've ever taken in my whole life. We basically just study like cinema in general, but like more specifically French cinema. Like earlier today, I watched a movie called Le Casson Coup avec like with my class, and it's in English. It's called The 400 Blows, and it was like the first movie of like new wave French cinema, and it just was so fun to sit down and watch that with my whole class. Every class is just like I'm just learning so much more, and then I go back to my host family and I talk with them about it, and it's just an amazing experience for me. So.
Merci, Malika. I think you just did some franglais. I heard avec my. C'est très bien. That's exactly where you should be right now. Fantastique. Merci. We haven't spoken about English or math or core classes. I know that must be on parents' minds. So either Alex or Malaika, maybe a few words about your English course here at SYA.
English is amazing. Like, we have Dr. Connolly or Madame Connolly, many names you can call her by, but she is like one of, if not the best English teacher I've ever had. And what I really love about our English course here at SYA is it's really well incorporated with coming to France and like speaking like a new language and stuff. Like all of our writers that we've read this year have been expats in some form. We read The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway, who was an expat in France. Right now, we're reading some excerpts of a text from Gertrude Stein, who again was another one of those expats. And I think that it really fosters your experience here and is just a great addition.
Parfait. Merci beaucoup, Alex. So we've talked about field work and then other classes, but I just want to go back to field work for a second because it's oftentimes something very new for students and families. So each field work, again, is designed so that we make the best use of existing local resources. And we push students outside of the comfort zone in using the target language in authentic situations. So not within the classroom with their teachers where they're pretty comfortable, but really outside of this building in the city. So I was wondering, Madame Simko, if you could tell us what type of growth maybe you have perhaps observed in Alex when you visited last month, because fieldwork again is very much linked to the outside experience. So anything you've noticed that's different since he's been here?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things. I think I'm so impressed when I came to visit this time. Normally, when Alex and I have gone on vacation, even we've gone to France before, I did most of the planning and he did some of the planning. I would say this time he did most of the planning and I did some of the planning. And he was so incredibly excited to show me. And Michael's actually going over in February all the different parts of Rennes and not just one type of thing in Rennes, all different types, whether it was art, whether it was stores, whether it was different places that he's gone to eat, markets. And I felt like his his perspective on his life in the United States, his life in France, his perspective just grew tremendously. And I guess I've seen him, he's always been, I think, an old soul, but I feel like he's a little bit more of a citizen of the world now, as opposed just to a citizen of the United States and Connecticut. Just a lot more comfortable with, he's always been pretty independent, but you know, when we went over there, everything we had to do, he went to buy the subway tickets. He went to take care of things. And it was just incredible to see that kind of growth. And his French has gotten so much better. I used to speak French better than he does, and now he just blows me away.
Très bien, merci beaucoup. So I'll switch to topic number 2. So we talked about classes, we'll talk now about the homestay, which is families. So all prospective host families are interviewed by our dedicated host family coordinator, Madame Delanou, who does not only do the best possible placements using the information you provide us, but also provides ongoing orientation and guidance to both the host families and the students throughout the year. So again, I can't emphasize enough that the homestay is a key part of the student's journey and overall experience. It provides our students a mean to develop their language skills, understanding of the culture that really completes our academic program. So we're thankful to have a wide range of families. I would say that they all have in common a sincere desire to host our students, to share their home, and lives with them. So what I'd like to say now also is that we also expect of our students to be as engaged with their host families, actively involved in their lives. And I would like to also emphasize that it is not a hotel, it's not a room we're renting. They're not in a dorm. They're really living with a host family. So we do have a large piece of the orientation in September for the annual and fall semester students, or in January for the spring semester students, when we underline that it's very important for them to really participate in the homestay by helping with dinner, by doing activities with the host families, asking questions, just being curious about the new country and culture. We ask a lot of our students. They are adapting to new family. It is not always easy, but it's very rewarding. It's important for them to really embrace their new way of life. So this experience of the homestay, I think the students might be able to speak about that better than I do right now, and give us like concrete examples of what that means for them on a day-to-day basis. And I just want to say that what Madame Keegan said earlier about alumni or trustees who are now been with us for a very long time, but were students here maybe 20, 25 years ago, are still talking about the experience. And one of the first things that comes out is usually the host family. And just this past week, we had two alumni who came to Rennes to visit the host family. They came to school to say hello. And it really speaks to that special bond. So I know Alex and Malika can illustrate what I'm saying right now and give us maybe some examples of how life is at home with them. Malika, je commence avec toi?
Oui, ça marche. So I'm living like 10 minutes out away from the school, so kind of in centre-ville. And I absolutely adore my host family. Like they're so sweet and genuine. And I've had so many real conversations with each of them, which is not really necessarily something that I'd expected. Um, but these are like real people that you're forming real bonds with. I just the other day I had a very real conversation with my host brother. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. I just the other day had a very like real conversation with my host brother about how it's been for me, like moving to France, now living in France and living with a different family. And it's been amazing to really make these strong connections and bonds with people that a few months ago I did not know existed. And usually after dinner, it's just become kind of a habit of ours to play a game of cards. So now I know like 10 different card games that I only know the French name of because I don't know what they are in English. But it's just been like the best experience, like cooking with them after working on my homework a bit. And it's just like going to Saint Malo with them. Like I have so many great memories. And it's just something that has, I can say, very genuinely like added to my experience here. And I'm really glad that it's not a dorm setting and that I am living with a family and that I'm get to have that experience as well.
Merci, Malaika. Alex, si tu veux dire quelque chose?
Yeah, I have had an amazing experience with my host family as well. I have a very different experience because I have two little host sisters who are 4 and 6, and they already barely speak French, and I speak good French now, but still, it's a little difficult to communicate with them sometimes. So I don't have those deep conversations with them, but I've definitely shared that experience of having, like, I've talked about American politics, world politics with my host family, talked about like different things going on in Ren, and that's been an amazing experience. And I also think I just have one older brother back home, but living with two younger sisters, it's been very different. It was a hard adjustment at first because I am their first host child. But they have grown to love me and I love them. And now my older sister, Ines, she starts crying. She doesn't get to sit next to me at dinner. And I think my mom can attest to how sweet they are and how it's like just the perfect balance because like I do have like a space, like my room, my space where I can go and do work, but I also have a family that I'm living with where I can go and like interact with them and experience new things I wouldn't have experienced. And for me, I think that the like one of the craziest parts of it for me was the language and that and how much staying with the host family helped me and how having a space where I only speak French. Like I don't really unless I'm on the phone with my friends or like this, I don't speak English in this house. Like I remember when my mom came to visit and had dinner here with us, it was it was like I kept on switching into French because I'm like, this is where I speak French. And it just rolls off my tongue. And like, it's really just improved my French and like introduced me to a new side of life.
Madame Keter, can I make one comment just about that? Because I did visit in over the holidays. Michael had to be with our other son, but um, it was incredible to see Alex in a different family setting. And I think that the family stay is such an important piece of this culturally, language wise. To get a different vantage point on people who live a totally different life than you just has been incredible. And we stay in touch with the host parents, and they have been they're just incredibly kind. Alex is super lucky because he does have a little bit of his own space, but they take him on family trips. They took him to Paris. They celebrate. They've gone to see soccer matches. So he's really a part of the family. And it's incredible to see the girls and how much that relationship has like just evolved over time. So they did a wonderful job with Alex's placement. I could not say more great things about that.
And here, just for proof, this is my Christmas card, which does include me, as well as our my host family. So
Merci. Très bien. So I was about to ask you a question about the homestay, Madame Simco and Monsieur Simco, or any apprehensions you may have had before Alex joined the program. So if you'd like to add anything, Monsieur Simco, to the homestay question.
I would say that that was one of my biggest fears or risks for Alex because getting placed for a year in the wrong family is would be not a happy situation. But I do think that SYA did an excellent job of doing their due diligence on the family and of placing Alex with the right family, and it's worked out perfectly. But yes, that was one of my larger fears and the risk of that. But you guys have done a great job. So yeah.
Merci. Parfait. So for the sake of time, I'll move to my third topic tonight, so which is activities and curriculars. So all students participate in an activity outside of school. We're fortunate to be in a big city where most activities are offered. All activities in France, and that's very different from the US. Here, they are detached from school and they offered through private clubs or city clubs. We do have an activity coordinator on campus. Students choose the activity typically early into the year. One of the first field work we do during the immersion unit is actually titled Find or Finding Your Activity. So it is a school requirement for our annual students. We also have in-school clubs. It's a requirement for the annual students. We suggest to the semester students to do it. We're very happy when they join activity. And the reason for that is the connections they can build with local French students their age. So Malaika, if you could please tell us what your activity is, what you've picked, and how you found it, and also if you're participating in any club at school.
Yeah, so happy to talk about that. So in the United States at my home school, I play volleyball, so I wanted to continue that here. So I am with an organization and I do play volleyball every Thursday, which is really fun. I usually walk over with my host sister because she plays at the same gym that I play at, which is actually how I found out about it. And then there I also found that there's a girl that does volleyball there that goes to the high school where we eat lunch. So sometimes I see her like in the cafeteria and we'll just like spike up a conversation, which has been really interesting to kind of have that link between somebody that I see on Thursdays, like during my volleyball practice, to somebody that I see like every day in the lunchroom as well. So that was really fun to experience. And then also a club that I do here, I just joined book club, which I'm really excited to be starting. And I think we're going to be reading books in French and also discussing them in French, which I'm really excited for. And then also News Decoder, which is kind of a journalism club, which I'm really happy to be in. And we kind of write about current issues or kind of our experience as people living abroad in France, which has been very valuable to me, I find.
Merci beaucoup. C'était très complet, Malaika. Merci. Alex, la même question. Est-ce que tu peux ajouter peut-être quelque chose sur le Spirit Committee et l'importance de la communauté SYA?
Yeah, so I am part of the Spirit Committee at SYA, which is basically a group where we get together every other week and discuss what we can do to like improve the spirit of the school. We put together the like we decide on the themes for like our spirit weeks, or like if we have an activity that we want to do at school, like we had like red carpet night where we all dressed up nice and watched a movie. Sadly, I was sick for that, but I heard it was wonderful. And we also organized some rock climbing and spirit committee. If you come to SYA, like I cannot more highly recommend joining. Like you talk with all your friends about like how you can have more fun, and then you get to eat snacks. Best like highlight of my week whenever I have it. It is the best. I love Spirit Committee. And one of our greatest opportunities was we got to pick up the semester two students from the Charles de Gaulle Airport. We got to take the TGV there, thankfully. But and the bus ride actually felt much shorter on the way back now that it's my second time doing it. But it was a nice way to be able to bridge the gap between us, because obviously it's like a whole new group of students coming in. You would think it's kind of weird, but it was a nice way to make new friends. And I have some amazing friends that I found in the semester two students. And I remember how confused and like how much of a blur it was when I first got here. And it was such a wonderful opportunity to be able to be a friendly face in that blur.
Merci, and thank you for your contribution to the Spirit Committee. So my fourth topic, we'll be switching and talking about living in Rennes. So Rennes is labeled as an art and art history city. Its history goes back 2,000 years ago. It has a preserved medieval and classical heritage through its architecture, but at the same time, it's a very young city when you're looking at its demographics. It's a university town. Rennes is actually the 10th largest city in France. So it has a very unique feel to it. It's both a large city, but it's also very pedestrian. And you have quick access to rural areas, forests, which are the foot of the city. It's always also really close to the sea. We're about 45 minutes from Saint-Malo and Dinard, which students often visit early in the year with their host families. And we actually this year, as a school, also went to both of these cities on Thursday fieldwork day. It's also an hour and a half from Paris by TGV. And it's been voted several times over the years as best city in France for its quality of living. Alex, if you could describe how it is for you to live here and maybe mention a few places and perhaps talk about transportation around Rennes.
Yes, I love Rennes. It is, I think my mom, because she visited, can attest. It's kind of like the perfect city. Like it's small enough where like I know where everything is. Like I don't even well I only really take the metro because that's how I get to my house, but I still know some of the bus lines too. Like I can like I know how to get everywhere, and it's you can also in Rennes see like the progression of the architecture. Like right in the centre-ville they have like the really old architecture, which is like these buildings that are almost like they look kind of Germanic, and they're all like tilted because they're so old. But there's like a ton of good restaurants there, and then you get a little, and then you get like just a bit out of the centre-ville, and then it's like the classic French architecture, which is like beautiful in its whole different regard. And yeah, and then you get to the outskirts, and it's like fairly modern, like a lot of like newer places. You'll find some American stores, not a lot, but some American stores, and it's just an amazing mix of that. And I think that what makes Rennes so amazing is just how wonderful the public transport is. I have my card Corrigo right here, thankfully provided by the school, where I get just unlimited public transit access. And we have two metro lines here. I believe that it's the smallest city in the world by population that has a metro. Could be wrong, but the metro is amazing. It's like always on time. And that's what I take to get to school. And it's just a great way to do it. And then uh, two metro lines doesn't sound like a lot, but it does go through like all the main parts of the city. And if you need to go literally anywhere else, a bus will get you there. There are like so many buses in Rennes. I think the other day I saw a bus like line 121. I don't know how many lines there are in Rennes, but literally anywhere you need to go, you can find it on a bus. Like even outside of Rennes, like people who live in Passy, you can get a bus. Like it is truly amazing how easy it is to get around Rennes.
Merci, Alex. What you're saying makes me think that you might have your capstone subject topic right there,
And then
transportation.
could I add one thing because I think both Michael and I were a little worried about safety. And I can tell you, I mean, first off, France in general, their transportation blows ours out of the water, right? I mean, these metro stations are beautiful, they're clean, they feel very safe. And in general, I completely agree that you can get anywhere by public transportation, but it's also a very, very walkable city. And in my visit, I felt that Alex was very, very safe. I kind of had a preview to that because of my friend's child who participated in SYA about 6 years ago. But we don't live in the city at home, and I feel completely comfortable with Alex being there.
Merci beaucoup. That was a very important point, safety. I know it's top of mind for parents. Malaika, est-ce que c'est possible to talk about your commute maybe? I know you have three options to get here in the morning, and maybe a little bit about safety, and I can add on to that. Merci.
Yeah, so my commute, I actually love my commute so much because it's pretty short. I can take like a 15-minute walk if I'm feeling up for it in the morning, or I can take the bus. There's a bus stop like a 2-minute walk from my house that I think in 4 stops gets me to the school. It's like a direct bus that passes right by where the school is, which is amazing. Or there's a metro stop that's like a 5-minute walk from where I live that also gets me right by the school, which is just amazing that I have that many options because I do not have that at home. But that is amazing. And then another note on the safety, I've never seen anything like this. I don't know what cities you guys have been to, but the metros have like a glass door. So like the metro pulls up and the door of the metro opens with like this door that is like in front of the tracks. So you can't like fall onto the tracks. And I just thought that was crazy because I'd never seen that before. And I just think that is like the best way to like be safe. So I don't know. My mom was like amazed by that. I was on FaceTime with her and she's like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Babe, I don't know." But I think that's so cool. And yeah, very safe city, very walkable. Centre-ville is like the city is itself is pretty big, but Centre-ville you can get basically anywhere at pied. Like you can get anywhere just walking, which I love after school, just walking around with my friends, going to a cafe, and then walking around, looking at the street art, going into the cathedral, like just doing all that, which I love, which I feel like I just can't do it as much at home, which I love being able to do here.
Merci beaucoup. So, since we talked about safety, I just can also add that we also do have rules in place here that ensures the safety of our students. We spend a lot of time during the immersion program explaining the importance of these rules. We have curfew hours during the week and on the weekend. Our host families also partner with us in implementing these rules. We have a connection with the police department. We actually had in November a presentation from the police when they come to school and talk about do's and don'ts. And also, I am available 24/7 in case of an emergency. So thank you for bringing this up. It was not part of my topics at this point, but merci beaucoup. Voilà, I'll turn it back to you, Madam Kelly. If there are any
Oh,
questions from
yeah,
the box.
no, thank you. So, we have a couple of questions here, and I wondered, if one of the things was just about the college liaisons that we have on staff on all of our campuses. But if you could speak just a little bit to the support that students receive regarding the college process for juniors or seniors, that would be great, Madam Kadir.
Oui, merci. So we do have a college liaison. That's Madame Conley. She's also our English teacher. So she works intensely, I would say, during the first semester with the seniors because application deadlines and a lot of things have to be finished and sent out. So she dedicates a lot of time to them the first half of the year. And then starting December, she starts making appointments with our junior students. So mainly in a full class, you would have maybe 85% of the class, 90% of the class being juniors, a few sophomores, and then a few seniors, maybe 4 or 5, for instance, out of 50 students. So then second semester, she focuses on the juniors and their appointments made. They all have to go to at least one appointment and start the work with her. And if they wish, they can see her again multiple times throughout the semester. She also ensures that everybody leaves here with a lot of recommendation. So that has not yet happened because we at the beginning of semester 2, but she'll be starting that process with them in a couple of months. She's also our test center supervisor. So speaking of colleges, some students, seniors sometimes want to take the SAT one more time in October. So we do offer that test 4 times a year. And we do also offer APs because we are a test center for AP testing as well. So she's always available. Alex and Malika would say that, I think. So
That's what
individual.
I, when I've reached out to her, very accessible.
Voilà, so that's sort of the process here. A lot of students, I would say, would wait for the very end of the year to take tests. And I'm talking about standardized testing and focus on the experience here and take a test maybe in the month of May, which is our last administration. Maybe take a couple of AP tests with us and then wait for testing. I'm speaking about juniors in June or in August before they start senior year.
Great, thanks. There's just a quick question here just about integration of semesters. And I did just want to be clear for those who are on the call or listen to the call as a recording afterwards. So we have semester as well as year-long students enrolled in our program. They're all integrated together. They're not two separate programs. A majority of our students are year-long, but we do have a class come in the fall, and they will leave at the end of the first semester. And then we have a second class come in second semester, and they will finish the year with the year-long students. They take the same classes as the year-long students, and they integrate quite quickly. And Alex referred in his remarks just how fun it was to get to go to Charles de Gaulle and welcome those second semester students and help them integrate into the program. And it is a wonderful program. We've been having semester students for about 4 or 5 years now. Obviously, our name is School Year Abroad, but we do very happy to have the semester program. I will say for those of you who are on the call or who listen and maybe on the fence about considering year long or semester, we find that honestly, about half our semester students wish they'd gone for the year, and the other half are very happy with their decision to come for the semester. And it was the right decision for them. But if you are at all on the fence or you have questions, we're happy to please reach out to us. We're happy to talk you through it, or we can put you in touch with a student who went for the semester or the year just to find out more information so you can make the best decision for you. We're coming up on about 10 minutes of 9 and or 10 minutes of 4, but 10 minutes of 10 there, and it's late. And I just want to thank our team over in Rennes. If there are last few remarks that you would like to share with this group, knowing where they are in the process and you were here a year ago, I'd encourage you to share those with us now. But I also want to thank you all in advance for your participation in this event. Anyone want to share a couple of remarks?
Sure. I'd like to say something. For any parents who are sort of on the fence about the organization and sending your child abroad for a year, I think that in any organization, for me, you got to follow the money. And I think people should know that School Year Abroad was started by the boarding schools 60 years ago as a nonprofit, and it's a 501(c)(3), and they are a group of educators. They have a very strong balance sheet, which you can look at online, and they are very well run, but they're run by educators. Contrast that with some other programs that are run for profit. It gives an organization a very, very different motivation. And I think for me that's important to understand the people that are drawn to SYA are there for education and not just for we're going to make a quick buck off of that. And it's similar to we belong to a club in Florida, and that is run as a nonprofit versus or as a club versus a for-profit resort to go to. And it's the same sort of analogy, I think. And that's one thing I'd like to say that it's financially it's very strong, and that when I first thought about it, all right, what's the motivation of the people who are running this thing? Um, the other thing I'd like to say is that Alex has done a number of these summers. He summered up at Yale. He did one for what was that, Susan? Yeah, I can't. So you must be on mute, honey. All right. So that's run, where they basically rent real estate, hire a bunch of people, take a lot of money from families, send them there, and hope for the best. That's not SYA. SYA is got a great track record, a great group of people who are professionally trained doing this and who this is their life, as opposed to just somebody trying to squeak a buck out of it. And I was getting back to the communications of it. I think from day one, SYA has communicated very well with parents. I would say even more so than his private school here in Connecticut. Yeah, and that's about it and one other thing I'd say is that I think in this generation, we tend to be helicopter parents and like dote on a lot of kids, which I certainly wasn't doted on when I was a child. But I think where we are today in this generation, parents are much more involved. And sending Alex abroad really gives him the rope or the ability to sort of exercise those muscles of independence that he doesn't have at home. And it's to be able to exercise those muscles as I think a life skill that he will take with him. So
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Well said. Alex, did you want to share something?
Yeah, to just piggyback off of that, I think that SYA has truly made me grow as a person so much. I've lived in the same town my whole life. I've gone to the same school for 7 years. This would have been my eighth if I stayed. And I was able to learn who am I outside of my hometown? Who am I in a different student body? Who am I in a different country? And being able to learn all of that has been so invaluable, truly. And I just, my piece of advice, if you are thinking about doing SYA, do it. You will not regret it. There's not a single person here at SYA who's like, oh, I wish I didn't come. Like, it is the most wonderful experience you will have. And I know I sound like I've been prepped for this so much. I promise I haven't. I love this program and I truly cannot recommend it highly enough.
I'm just going to insert that lest that you think that Alex was on the spirit committee at his regular school. He was not. So those are heartfelt comments that I think reflect his experience, and I agree with all of that. And I just say and I had this opportunity in college. I didn't have the opportunity in high school. It's life changing. I lived with a French family. It completely changes your perspective. But the I cannot agree more. The educators at SYA, they mean business, they're serious, they enforce rules, but they are so supportive, nice people who really take care of your children.
Thank
I'd
you.
also like to say that I think Alex is going to be much better prepared for college, having done this year abroad with guardrails, because right now he's abroad with guardrails as opposed to just out on his own. I think he's going to be a much better college student.
I think you're right. Malika, do you want to share anything with us before we say goodbye?
Yes, I actually would love to. I like when I first heard about this program at my school, I think I called my mom that same day and I was like, Mom, I'm doing this. And she was like, What are you talking about? And so it was definitely difficult for her to accept that her baby wanted to go abroad for 9 months because that's crazy. But at the end of the day, where I am right now, my level of French that I speak now, I'm able to speak with my dad who speaks French fluently. I'm able to have a solid conversation with him. And I just think that the fact that my mom was able to let me kind of spread my wings in this way is just going to be the result of so many great things that are to come in my life. And I'm just so grateful to my mom and to my dad for letting me have this experience because had they not said, Yes, baby, I think this is a great idea, I would not be on this call. I would not have so many friends that I have here. I would not have the French friends. I would not be able to speak the way I can. I would not have the cultural knowledge of France and of the world generally that I do today. So I would highly recommend this program, as Alex said, and specifically the year-long program, just because I feel like if I was here for a semester, like it wouldn't have the same impact, in my opinion. I just like, and I also wouldn't want to leave, but that's just me. So.
Beautifully said, both of you, Alex and Malika. Thank you. And I know very much spoken from the heart. You're only midway through. You have a whole semester ahead of you to look forward to. And that's just really exciting. We'd love to check in with you at the spring and hear how the whole thing went. But last word, Madam Kadir.
Oui, merci. I just want to thank my students here. It's so rewarding to hear them speak about the experience in these words. So thank you both. Merci, Monsieur, Madame Simco, for your input on the program. I just want to say to the prospective parents here on the call that, again, it is a very rewarding experience. And if you're thinking about it, if your child is thinking about it, it's because they're probably ready to do this. it's a place where there's place-based education, hands-on education, where they will find new interests, make lifelong friends, and all of that with friends and a student body who comes from diverse backgrounds. They will gain independence, self-reliance, and gain a global mindset. So thank you all for being on the call, and à bientôt. Au
So
revoir.
February 7th is the application deadline, everyone. We look forward to reading all of your applications, and please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have questions.
And if any parents have questions, we offer happy to speak to them.
Same thing. Give us a
Wonderful.
call, send us an email. We'd be happy to talk to you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
All right. Bye now.